everyone. Welcome back to OSS Spiritual Podcast. Today is really special because I have my first guest ever, Zarife, and I know her for such a long time. And to be honest, how long in this point, I have no idea. Maybe best not to mention. But she has been always there for me as a guide, as a teacher, as a friend, as a sister, and I'm like really happy to have her today. And today we will be talking about empaths. And it's like where to find them, how to deal with them, and all those details. So welcome, Zarife.
Thank you so much, Pelin. It's an honor to be here, and I'm really happy, to make this possible for both of us. And it's such a joy to be with you, sharing this space with you. So, even only talking to you and even only, being in this space with you, it's amazing. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's always a pleasure to spend time together. Even sometimes we speak on the phone because Zarife is right now in the States. So we speak on the phone most of the time. And then it turns into an enlightenment talk at the end, one way or another. So it's always a pleasure to discover and end up like, yes, I should think about it.
I know, it's like whenever we start to talk, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's like we never stop talking, or it doesn't matter how long we haven't been together, but then we can just catch up at one point, and then that point brings us to a place where it's like almost like flowing, whatever we need to be talking, whatever we need to become aware of, whatever the problem is, or even daily life discussions become something that is like both rich and definitely fulfillment. That's what I feel. It's like, yes, like I love this.
No, it's so true. I appreciate such friendships a lot, because in some point it's became like a habit in life that you don't just talk about on the surface. Like you don't just say, I was so angry today, but we most of the time just dig deeper and say, oh, why am I angry about this, or why you're angry about this, and like, you remember we talked about this like 2 years ago and you were annoyed by this again. You see it's coming up again, and it's like the whole subject just unfolding in front of you.
I know. I guess that's the beauty of dedicating yourself in living a life that is meaningful for you. It's trying to understand what's happening. And I have to, I'm gonna highlight in this. It's not analyzing what's happening all the time. It's not questioning what's happening. It's not just stuck at a one point and trying to understand that point. It's not like that. It's more like becoming maybe a third eye, maybe a third person of the situation. So then you can create an understanding more, create this perception more than one level of your mind has understand. I mean, okay, I don't know. This is taking us to another place, Pelin. Do you realize it?
Yes.
Maybe we should come back to the subject.
Yes. So this is how it happened actually, because in our last phone talk, we were talking about empaths. Zarife told me like, you know what, I have been like observing about this situation, and you're an empath too, and you may be taking some stuff that doesn't belong to you. And then when we decided to make this talk, she was like, you know what, let's talk about empaths. We already found the subject. Let's go for it. So do you want to talk about it?
Yes, totally. This is a subject that I personally have suffered for a long time in my life, because I had no idea what is empath, what is being an empath, and I had no idea what my main issue was. And then in time, when I was discovering more about myself, and which is like my my mission in life is to discover. I love discovering. I love discovering life. I love discovering myself. And as I discover myself, the life unfolds in front of me. So it's vice, it's so it works together, and it is one of my mission in life. I love it to do it. So as I was one day I was at a class. I was taking a class, and the teacher told me that. So before that, I was each time I attend a class online about personal growth, about esoteric, about mysticism, about teachings of other schools, around spirituality, around self-discovery, I would get a little bit tired, mostly not from what's been taught, but from, I don't know, from something. I would get tired. Or if someone is talking about something sad, something that makes her feel or makes him feel bad, heavy, those heavy feelings, then I would become like I don't want to say reactive, but tired, or I would be feeling the same feeling. It's as if it was happening to me. And then I would feel for them to the point where it was me. So, and then those meetings, especially in crowded places, one-on-one meetings are fine for me, but especially in crowded places, I would become more restless, more irritated, more, oh, I don't want to stay here, this is too much for me. But I had no idea what was too much for me and why I didn't want to stay there, because I love the people, I love talking, I love socializing. But then I become tired or irritated, or I just want to go. I just want to leave earlier. So in time, after, as I'm becoming aware of something is happening here, I don't like to be in crowds too long. I don't like to to stay in these classes too long. There's something happening. And then one time a teacher addressed that, did you realize that you're an empath? And that was like, she almost saved my life, Pelin. I have to tell you this. As soon as she said that, I felt it in my gut. I'm like, oh, yes, that's it. Without knowing what it is, I felt it in my gut. Okay. I said, that's it. And then I'm like, okay, what is it? She's like, go and discover. And I went online. She didn't tell me much. She's like, go and discover. And then I went online, and then I did a little bit of search, and I come up to a beautiful psychiatrist. Also, she's also a spiritual teacher. She's Judith Orlov. And I started to discover what is being an empath, how is it affecting me, and how I need to deal with it. Because before you know what it is, it works like a curse. But after you discover what it is, it becomes a gift. And I don't really like to label. I don't really like to label people, or you're an empath, or you're this, you're that, because that actually crystallizes the thing. And we don't want that. We don't want to be stuck in the label. We don't want to be identified with it, okay? Because that's another, it almost works like prison, I might say. When you identify it with that, then it limits you. But so what I offer is, without labeling it, try to understand it, try to perceive it. What is this gift that I have? Why do I have it? What is it for? So when we open ourselves to discover it, then once we become free of it, it's not dominating. Second, I can use it as I start to learn to use it in my service. As a wife, as a daughter, as a coach, as a teacher, whatever I am, in whatever identity I am, I can use it as a service. I can use it as a tool. I mean, use is a different word that doesn't sound so good, but it's like
It's almost you can harmonize yourself with it in order to just like benefit from it almost. Maybe.
Yes. Yes, it's like bringing it on, make it possible for whatever the gift is. Using cherishing or not cherishing. It's mostly
maybe
I don't
embracing.
know. Embracing, yeah, that's a nice word.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about it these past few weeks a lot actually. You know, the qualities we have and everything. Exactly as you said, not labeling yourself, because that's where the dangers of spiritual ego comes in. But just to be aware of what you have, embrace it, and also in a way to let go later. You know, to let go of it, don't not holding it on so hard in yourself that you say, I am this, but just to say, I'm also that, you know? And then just like, okay, I have it, and let's see what I am. What does it do to me?
Yes. Yes, and as you're talking, this reminds me of when we identify ourselves as I am, then it's almost like limiting ourselves to one aspect of what I am. Because I'm not only this, I'm also that, I'm also that. So one part is this, one part is that. It's not separating, but it's, discovering, oh, I have this gift, oh, I have this ability, oh, I have this talent, oh, I have this tendency, and then, as you said, harmonizing them and embracing them, and which is a way of becoming unique self, becoming you, more of you, because what you're doing is you're embracing them and you become more. It's that's the journey to become more, right?
No, it's completely true. It's just, you know, spirituality has so many aspects. It's when you take it the simplest version of the definition, it's actually just trying to understand who you are. And it's so complex. It has so much depth in it. And it takes years, or in some cases, lifetimes to discover this. So it always amazes me how many layers we can have, even within one lifetime. How many, let's say, it almost feels like we go through, like centuries, but within our lifetime, that like periods, and you completely turn into someone else and experience life that way.
Yes. And what has changed my perception around spirituality is this idea of we're not here to become spiritual beings. We are here as a spiritual being to have a human experience. Becoming aware of this, then spirituality is not something separate from you. It's not something that you need to achieve. It's not something that you need to be successful about it. It's more an aspect of your unique being. You are already there. You are already, a part of you is spiritual. A part of you is this body. A part of you is this mind, this heart, this womb. This is, and it's the discovery journey of your parts, your dimensions, as well as having a human experience here. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah, it's a really nice way to put it. I remember many years ago, I think I came across with someone talking about this. In Turkish, we don't have this, spiritual spirit, because they don't resonate soul, like they're a bit complex in Turkish language. But someone was saying that spirituality is about realizing you have a spirit, so you're already spiritual. You just need to become aware of it.
Yes.
And
yes,
it really
totally.
hits me that day. Like I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yes. So, what is empathy? Is I'd like to ask a few questions. Of I want to ask a question to you, and then I'm asking whoever is listening to this conversation, ask yourself this. Have you been labeled as or told as, oh, you're too sensitive?
Oh, yeah.
Or have you been told, like, don't be such a weepy? You crying here too? What's there to cry? Or come on, toughen up. Or get a thicker skin. Oh, you're such a crybaby. And all these, all these words we might have heard. And I have to say, I have heard it before I knew it, what it was. I sometimes hear my husband say it, oh, come on, toughen up. You don't have to worry about that much. You don't have to be sensitive too much. You don't have to overthink that subject, And that was actually annoying because I can't toughen up. I don't know how to toughen up. And I was like, what is wrong with me? So what happens is, and this is mostly very, very, I think, very important to understand that the world that we're living in, yes, it's Mother Earth. Yes, is a feminine aspect of Earth. However, the life on Earth is mostly operated with masculine energy. Or every system, the school system, the business system, the housings, every system is almost operated by masculine energy. It's a male energy. What I mean is that, life, everything in life, every aspect in life has this law of nature, which is the gender law, which means there is a polarity in everything living and everything not living. And it means no matter what gender you are in, even if you're a female or even if you're a male body, we all have both of the energies within us, as well as we can see both energies within everything in life. So when we look in the world, it's mostly male energy dominant. And as a sensitive person, at the beginning, we will find it very difficult to be in this male, mostly masculine energy world, because masculinity is mostly that aspect is related mostly to thinking, to be intellectually intelligent, to be rational, to be able to be smarter, to be able to have operating from your mind, not with feelings. So this makes it difficult for us because we can't, what empaths do is they first feel and then think. But this world is based on think first and then feel. Yeah. Or don't even feel. No. Feelings they're rubbish, No, don't worry about that. Feelings is not something you need to take care of. You need to be aware of, or nothing. So this is what makes it most difficult for a sensitive person, for a feel person, to find their own unique way of surviving. Because I tried for the longest time, I tried to fit in. And I couldn't. And I was always questioning, always punishing myself even. Something is wrong with you. You see, you couldn't succeed that. You see, you're a failure. You see, they're better than you. You see, even sometimes I would not be able to watch some certain movies because they're too harsh for me. They're fighting. There's too much blood. There's too much aggressive energy. There's too much going on. And I'm like, come on, that's enough. How can you even watch this? I would be like so outraged about it and I didn't know why. But then in time, I discovered that as an empath, as a sensitive person, what happens is that brings us to the definition. What is empath? What is empathy? And what is sympathy? So an empath is a person let me start from the beginning. Sympathy is to feel for someone, is to feel compassion for someone without knowing exactly how they're feeling or how they're thinking. You don't have to know, okay? But empathy is the capacity of putting yourself in the shoes of another. It's the ability to imagine yourself in the situation of another, and your heart goes out there. You can feel for them, you can be happy for them. However, an empath is another level. It's taking on the energy, it's taking on the feeling, it's taking on the emotion, or even a symptom that one might have, or taking on the stress of person to the point you act like a sponge. So whenever I see a movie, whenever I see blood or fight or something, it feels like it's happening to me. And my brain cannot differentiate. It's not my brain. It's what happens is in reality, our brain cannot differentiate what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling from what's actually happening. So even a movie, even though I know I'm watching a movie, some part of my brain doesn't know it's a movie. It thinks, it feels, it's happening to me. So I become defensive, or I can almost sometimes become paralyzed with the fear or with the anger or whatever is happening there. So this and with empaths, so to one degree, this happens to everybody. Our brain doesn't know the difference between reality, between your thinking and your feeling. However, for empaths, we have these brain neurons that act like a mirror, and there is no filter whatsoever. That's why my body, my feeling body, doesn't know the difference if it's really happening to me or not.
Is it mine to carry or not?
Again?
Is it really mine to carry or not? Like, is it coming? Is it something happening to me from inside out, or it's just something I took from outside and put it in me as if it is happening to me?
Yes. Your point is I don't know the difference. I cannot discern to the fact that is this my feeling or not. I cannot discern, do I have to be feeling this or not, until I become aware of it. So we're trying talk around the example of watching a horror movie. So that was that's a definite example. And take all this information and bring it to your relationships. It doesn't have to be a horror movie. It doesn't have to be a bad person. In relationships, mom, your relationship with your mom, your relationship with your husband, the relationship with your girlfriend. If there's a second person in your space, it works like this, Pelin. Being an empath, being the sponge of the energy, of the feeling, this reminds us that we don't have a boundary as other people might have. I'm talking about the unseen boundary, the energetic boundary. I don't have that. When I am around people, I am the sponge that doesn't say, oh, I'll feel you, or I don't feel you. That doesn't say that. The sponge acts like a sponge no matter who is around, right? That means I don't have a boundary, okay? So one thing which is very important to remember is to create healthy boundaries, okay? So because I don't have a boundary, and because of the mirrors because let me put it this way. So what happens is I have the ability, right? This is also an ability. We're talking about becoming a sponge, but on the other hand, I have the ability to feel what the other person is feeling, to think, to perceive what the other person is thinking. Right? I have both abilities. And at the same time, I can even feel the symptoms in my body if I'm around of another person that is having a physical symptom in their body. So this brings us to what type of empath you are. Are you a physical empath? Are you an emotional empath? Or are you an intuitive empath? Yes.
It's getting messy.
I know. So I hope I'm not going too fast. Is there any question till here you want to ask or you want to address to
What actually
before we dive into the types of the empath, being an empath?
It's what got into my mind when you were talking actually is that how much of an impact it would have in our life just with simple things. So when you were talking, this was a clear image came to my mind. If you know, when you see something as an empath, and I suffered it for many years also, that you take it as if it is yours, you feel it. Actually, you also give the comment to your brain that I am feeling it. And your whole body actually shifts that way, like all the chemicals. Maybe it's not a situation you need to run away, but you're telling your body you need to run away. Or you're actually not happy that day, but you're telling your mind to be happy. Or you're just having a normal day and you're not sad, but you're telling yourself, oh, this person has experienced that and that must have hurt so much. How would I have feel? And you feel it and you're like, then the rest of the day you're like in pieces and you don't know where you got it from and everything like that, you know? It just actually such a complex system to put yourself out of it. So I actually have a question for you, but I will ask you later after you explain the types, because the types, I didn't hear it yet and I'm really curious about it.
Yeah, before that, I want to say a person that is too sensitive, which is empath, is a sensitive person, means a sensitive person. And it means an empath is has the ability to connect with his or her body and feel body, feel the emotions. It's like, as I said, other persons are think, but as an empath, as a sensitive person, you feel. We perceive the world from a feeling point of view. Okay? And so it means we are highly in tune with our body. And it's almost like dominating it can be dominating the mental field. It can be dominating our thinking, decision making, our choice making field, the mental field, right? So this might be something that's happening. On the other hand, this person, because we can feel other person's feelings, even though those are not aware of it, even though they might be ignoring it or even rejecting it. Oh, no, I'm totally fine. Yeah, we can change it. Oh, no, I'm totally over it. Yeah, I'm cool. Let's have a drink. Oh, no, that was in the past. Don't worry about it. I'm already fine. What are you worrying about it? Right? You know what I mean? Because because that person is not in the body, it's up here. So that person doesn't really know what's happening here, right? To the point where seriously they have no idea. But you as an empath are there in their presence, in that space between, and you can feel everything. So that creates a conflict. And that conflict, when you're not aware of it, you're like, what is wrong with me? Why am I sad? Why am I so so angry? Why am I feeling distress right now? I have no reason. That he says he's fine, she says she's cool, you know, and you can't do it. You're like, what? Why am I so feeling this? Okay. And that conflict is a huge theme in our life because they don't know about it, they're not aware of it, and they don't want to own it. So what happens with you, you're feeling all the shit.
It's true.
if you don't know, if you're not aware of it, okay?
Yeah.
And this
Ask
is
an
the
empath.
cursed part.
Ask an
Yeah,
empath.
and this is the cursed part of it, because you don't know. And then and the other thing is, sometimes we say something, but it might be the opposite of what I'm feeling, right?
Mhm.
We all do that.
Yeah.
However, a sensitive person can sense that, because a sensitive person is like a truth seeker. It's like it has a detector. It's like seeking the truth all the
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
So, and you can sense the conflict, but it brings you to a place, well, he says something, but it doesn't feel like that. So what's happening? So that conflict can create such a conflict in us. It can almost to the extent of being a paranoid. You know, there's degrees to that. I'm not you're paranoid, but it can make you, it can bring you to the extent that you feel like, or you might be accused of being a paranoid. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Because you kind of lose your North Star of what is what, and it makes you in a way ungrounded. So you're not sure of what is mine, what is others, and what is my actual feeling about the situation, or in especially in important decisions. When it comes to, it's always been the toughest, especially if it's included other people involved in the situation. And it's always like, is it really how I feel about it, or it's not mine at all?
Yes, that's a very good question that we will be using in our life more consciously, in order to understand, in order to take ourselves out from that spongy place into a grounded place. That's a very good question that we will be using. And as you said, we are, a sensitive person is receptive to feelings, thoughts, energies around her. Even the changes in air, if it's too windy, if it's full moon, if it's, you know, the tide waves, if it's new moon or full moon, where the sun is, how if there's any sun explosions, you know, that even affects the planet, and it affects planet's energy. So if it affects my energy, because I'm very in tuned with all the energies in the planet that I'm living on. Yeah. So, and these are, you know, this is being receptive. I'm talking about a reception. It's like there's no boundaries. I can feel, I can receive, I can understand, I can perceive. However, if I'm not aware of it, it's a curse. I don't know what's happening, and I'm under so many, you know, stimulations, and I can become overstimulated. I can become overreactive. I can become I can become sick. I can become depressed. I can choose to be choose to have a depression, or like shut down. You know, that's why we become depressive. We shut down because it's too much, right? So I hope I have given the picture of what is to be a sensitive person. Now I can move to the next level, which is the types of, you know, the types of an empath, and then we can move to a place, what can we do with this? How can we transform this into a gift? Deal? Do you have any questions so far?
No, that sounds great. Let's hear about the 3 types. I'm so curious about them, to be honest.
Okay, so what Judith Orloff says, she has a beautiful book I can give at the end of our session. So what she says there are physical empaths, there are emotional empaths, and there are intuitive empaths. And then this doesn't mean if you're one, you cannot be the other. This doesn't mean like that. You can be all. And there's like a questionnaire that you can answer those questions and see which one you are mostly. Are you a physical, are you an emotional, or an intuitive one? So what it means is a physical empath is an empath that can feel and copy the symptoms of another person. For example, have you ever had, let's say, a conversation with a friend, and she said, "Oh, I have a headache," and then as soon as you hang up, you feel a headache. Or you go to a hospital for some reason, you're perfectly fine. You go to a hospital for some reason, and then you come out of it and you have a lot of pain in your body and you don't know where it's coming from. Or sometimes you have this pain, some chronic pain in your head, maybe in your stomach, maybe in your knee, I don't know, but some pain that you might have from time to time. You go to doctors and they say, "No, you're good. There's nothing wrong." So you become like, there's a word for it in Turkish, I don't know in English, evhamlı. It's like the person that always thinks she's sick, or he has some type of sickness, illness going on. And they go to doctor and the doctor says, "No, you're perfectly fine." And they don't know where the pain is coming from. So that's mostly a physical empath. That person is taking on the symptoms of his or her surroundings, of other people's. You don't have to be physically there. You can just connect from a phone. You can be far away, one continent, the other person, the other continent. But as soon as you talk or energetically connect, energetically connection means when you think about a person, you can even, that moment, you can even take on his or her symptom at that moment, if whatever they're feeling at that moment. Makes sense? That is, taking on the symptoms. And the emotional empath is mostly, as it describes itself, taking on the emotions, taking on the feelings, taking on the love the other people is feeling, the happiness, the joy, the peace, or the serenity, or the sadness, the disappointment, the anger, the worry. So you can't differentiate that. If you're a sponge, you take on all emotions. The sponge doesn't differentiate. "Oh, I like the better ones. I don't want the negative ones."
It has no filter.
Happiness, yes, bring it on. Sadness, no, take it back. Doesn't work like that. So you become like a sponge to the feelings, whatever that person is feeling. And the news is, everybody on earth has feelings.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the challenge.
Yes. Even though they're not connected with it, even though they're not aware of it, even though they try to suppress it, don't look there, ignore, neglect, whatever they're doing, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's such a natural ability we have that makes us human. It's the feeling, right? We feel. That's how we live our life. That's what it means to have a human experience, is to feel. Is to feel the joy of life, is to feel the love to everything, is to feel the sadness when you lose something. So, and that's all natural. So an emotional empath takes on the feelings, and she doesn't know, or if he doesn't know that if it's her actual feelings or emotions or not. That becomes a problem. And the last one is intuitive empaths. Is, as it says, intuitive. She or he is has this extraordinary intuition. For example, the ability of telepathy, the ability of having vivid dreams, remembering them, in detail. And sometimes intuitive persons can hear the animals, can talk to plants. These all are aspects of intuition. So you can hear something you can hear, what is the word for it? Is it the ability to, like, clairvoyancy, the ability to silence knowing, the ability to telepathy? You have these glimpses, you can see the pictures. these type of aspects of intuition. So this person can perceive from an intuitive place. And what I discovered is that, for example, me, I am intuitive and emotional empath, and I have a little bit of physical empath, but I'm not a real physical empath, which is me. But then, as I said, a person can be only physical or only emotional or a little bit of all of them.
No, it's, maybe it will sound crazy, but the more you explain into the details of how empaths are and like giving the description of it, the describing it, you know what it sounds to me? It's like they're the perfect human almost. Actually, in a world where there wasn't so much, let's say, aggression or attack emotionally, because I think as an empath, that's the biggest struggle I have. Anything that comes from outside, it feels intrusive because it's amplifies, it's too much, it's a lot to handle. So in a perfect world for me, it sounds like they're the perfect human being because they're connected to Earth, they're connected to planets, they're in all unison with the universe, and they can feel for others, other beings and everything. It's just actually such a sacred place to be.
Isn't what we've been trying to do in our self-growth, in our spiritual journey, isn't where we wanted to become?
That's the irony. Like, you are that, and then you close yourself to it, and then you spend years to go back to that again.
I know, because I remember the first time that I stepped into, my spiritual growth, my I can say spiritual growth, I can say metaphysics, I can say self-discovery, self-growth, or self-development. All these are, I believe, it's very much connected. And the first time I attended to a class or take a private transformation session, the first question is, what do you feel? Where do you feel it? What's your feeling? So we start. So basically, it starts with exploring the feeling world, right? What's happening there? How are you feeling? How's your body feeling? That's a good question. I haven't asked myself for a long time. So, and then you start to discover, right? And then you become connected. And then that becomes, yes, as you said, I don't want to say perfect, but yes, that human experience, that's an excellent human experience we can have, is to feel an excellent human, to feel all the feelings, all in those experiences, because and here the mind wants to differentiate, wants to label, wants to judge. Oh, I want to only have good feelings. I only want to have good experiences, not negative ones. I don't want sadness, No, that's bad. You shouldn't be living that. You shouldn't be experiencing that. So that creates a conflict. No, life is both. We are here on Earth. We're here on this planet. It's a duality that we wanted to experience life. Duality means there is no bad without a good. There is no dark without a light. There is no right without a wrong. It's together. So that's why it's the experience of living both and choosing, right? Yeah. Realizing, oh, that was too dark. Oh, that was a mistake. Oh, that was too painful. By realizing that wasn't something pleasant, then become mature in the experience, and then we have the ability to choose. Okay, I know now the difference between good and bad, so now I can choose.
I don't want to go a step ahead, so if it's not the time to ask this question, okay, you can just choose to ignore it. But so what would be my North Star to stay rooted, to have a start point? What would you suggest? Like,
so for a sensitive person, yes, for a sensitive person, for an empath, for a person that is all feeling, we lose our grounding, okay, very easily. We don't have healthy boundaries. And we don't know where is our domain. Where does your domain start and end? We don't know. So we need to educate ourselves. Your domain, your responsibility of your life, of your boundaries. These are all connected. Okay. Is this my business? Is this his or her business? Or is this God's business? This is another point. You can ask yourself, okay, I find myself in a situation, I don't know what to do. I have this urge to fix things, because that's what sensitive person does. Have the urge of fixing, right? Yeah. Ask yourself this question. Is this my business? Is this his or her business? Or is this God's business? And take a deep breath. That will bring a space to that urge, and between you, so you can choose, oh, okay, that's not my business. It's his or her business. It's his or her experience. Because what we do is, not knowingly, because of this urge of fixing things, oh, I want to make it right because I feel it's so bad. I want to make it right. It's so complicated, I feel it. I have to make it right. So you got to stop that. No, I feel it. Yes, thank you. But I don't have to fix it because it's not my business. Everybody on this earth is here to have their own soul journey, to have their own experience in life, right? My urge of fixing, unfortunately, makes me interfere with other people's lives, with other people's business. It's stealing their experience. If that person has to live that, if that person has to hit his head to the wall and learn from that, me trying to stop that person is trying to stop him from learning from that experience.
It actually has a negative outcome in a way, because we are not helping someone, but actually we're hindering their way of learning or experiencing in life, which will help them to grow.
Yes.
Wow.
And you keep on, you in your own mind and heart and soul, you think you're the best woman, the best friend. What else can I do for you? I'm doing everything for you. However, it's rubbish. You're not doing everything. Actually doing everything to stir things even more up. Not knowingly, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're stealing from your own well-being, from your own what I mean is that because of this urge, because I can feel, because I have this urge, then I not very good at prioritizing my own needs. What happens is I stop listening to my own needs, or even I cannot differentiate, is this my need, is this their need, his or him need, her need. So I need to become aware of what is my need. What do I need right now? How am I feeling right now? Do I need self-care? Do I need a walk in the nature? Do I need a salt bath? Do I need a silent moment? Do I need a meditation? Or do I need to eat a good meal right now? Because one of the other way is to feed yourself good, is to have all the vitamins, all the minerals that your body needs, whatever that is, to ground yourself. You have to feed yourself well. Whatever your eating habit, your eating choices are, vegetarian, vegan, or what's the other one? When you eat everything, I don't know the word for it, but you don't differentiate and you eat everything. Make sure you are having all that what your body needs in daily basis, because sometimes we become so busy in life, right? We just grab what we have, or we just eat what we feel that moment without thinking, is it good or not? So, and then that becomes like a habit, and then when we don't take care of ourselves, our body is the place that we anchor ourselves within on this earth. And if you lose your anchor, then you lose your ground, and you you become a more sponge. You don't have boundaries. You don't have a, as you say, North Star. You don't have nothing. You can't realize it. You're not feeding yourself well. So another place is to feed yourself well. Eat well, not feed, eat well. And the other place is to spend time in nature. Because we feel, right, we can connect to nature, and nature has a beautiful life force that we can connect and recharge ourselves. It's almost like when your smartphone, doesn't have battery, you put it in electricity, you plug it in, it has more. That's what I feel when I go to nature.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. Being at the seaside, being in the woods, being in forests, wherever the nature is, even in desert, it doesn't matter what's there, because nature has it all wherever you are. So yes, it's like spending time, creating some self-care time. Okay, I think this is a good point. Creating your awareness around self-care. What is self-care for me? And putting in all those things that is good, that is a self-care for you. Dancing, singing, eating well, meditating, yoga, practicing, something, practicing physical practice like yoga, working out, walking, kayaking, whatever that is that makes your body move. Because remember, we're feeling in the body. The feelings are in the body. You have to create a movement for the emotion to mote, create movement. So being active is totally helpful, totally self-care. And what else?
It's almost like you actually get the Shakti, the life force, like a pressured water in your body to let it out, the pieces that you don't need or you actually doesn't belong to you.
Yeah. Yes, totally. So did I answer your question, Pelin? What did you ask? What was the last question?
Yeah, it was actually answering. No, it did
Okay.
answer. Actually, I wanted to share with you something shortly before you move on. I came across with this video on TikTok, actually. Someone was talking about empaths, and he was saying something really funny. He was saying, like, don't you dare to lie to empaths. They will know. And it was so true. And he was explaining, like, for a 3-minute video, why would they understand? It's because, like, and it makes so much sense to me. And he was saying, like, empaths will have a baseline for you. And when you have a peak in something that doesn't seem so right and you regularly don't do it, they will know and they will ask you, is everything okay? Are you sure it's okay? Is everything fine? Did I do something? Did something happen? Like anything, basically. And it was so correct, just like, and if we apply to everyone around us, I realized that in some point in life, I actually started to how to say, select the amount of people I interact with, because I think we have too many baselines, like boxes for many people. And in some point, maybe we have 20 people we can hold at the same time. And when it's more than that, I realize I kind of copy paste a habit to all of them. In a sense, just be nice to all of them, just be okay with all of them, but don't go too deep in the communication with them. Just like keep it in a certain level and constantly remind yourself, it's none of my business. You're not doing it, especially for day-to-day tasks. When you buy stuff, you exchange stuff. It's like, okay, you can have a chit chat, especially in Turkey, you know how it is. You talk with everyone when you go out. I was like, there's a special classification for me there. It's just a chit chat. Don't take it. Don't carry it with you the rest of the day. I think that's makes many people in some point in their life, instead of extroverts, they become introverts. They spend more time within themselves. And as you said, I think that's where the depression kicks in for empaths so much, because they feel a lot. And then in a certain point, I think all empaths experience loneliness because they feel so much, they feel alone in it. And this creates a cocoon around them to say, I'm the only one. who lives it. And it's actually really tough, and no one actually guides you or helps you so much about it, especially Western medicine and everything. They just say you're in depression and they give pills and so on, and they make you even more numb instead of embracing all the feelings you have, you know.
Yeah, you remember the beginning of our conversation today. I said it's a male dominant world we're living in, and what happens is we feel a sensitive person feels they don't fit in. And as you described, they feel, oh, I don't fit, I don't belong here. Oh, it's me. Oh, it's my fault, you know. And then I'm alone. And as you said, put it very well, then we tend to isolate ourselves. Or the other thing is that we always seek to be understood. That's another thing.
Yeah.
One thing is to fix, and then the other thing is to be understood. And you know, it is self-discovery is a gift for us, because not empaths, for human beings. And I, as a life coach, as a personal transformation coach, I say this to everybody that I meet. I say, you think you have to eat, right? You think you have to drink to survive in this world. Yes, that's true, to survive. But if you want to have a lifestyle, if you want to have a conscious living, if you really want to have your dreams, create your dreams, if you really want to have all that you want to, starting from a self-discovery, starting from self-growth, connection with your spirituality is the place to have that. Because the more you discover yourself, as you change within, you change without, right?
Yeah.
So I realized that, oh, I am isolating myself. The other tool that I need to develop is to educate myself, to express myself. For us, it's such a crucial place to express yourself, to be able to become aware of what's happening with you, and to have your unique expression. Talk about your feelings, talk about your emotions, talk about what is happening with you right now. Expressing yourself. You know, there's a difference between communicating and expressing.
Yeah.
Communicating is delivering info, delivering data. Expressing is delivering emotions, delivering feelings, delivering your unique, your intimacy.
I think that's the hardest part for empaths. We are so vulnerable in so many levels. And when we, as you said, talk about these, what we are experiencing or feeling, when someone doesn't understand it, we take it so personal. It feels so personal, like, oh, they don't understand me, so they don't like me, or they don't love me. These direct links, which are really dangerous jumps of conclusions, can actually really affect a person.
Yes, that's the place that you seek approval, you seek love, you seek expression. So that's exactly where we almost sabotage ourselves, take it personally, and it's not personal.
Yeah, that's the rules of the world, actually.
Yeah.
It's never, ever personal. Actually, when you think, that was one of my waking up points, and it might sound really harsh, but we're living in an extreme selfish world. Actually, no one gives a shit about you. So it's never that personal as much as an empath takes on themselves.
Yes. Yes. Do you have any other questions?
So let me think. What was your waking up point for you, if it's not too personal, just to give a solid ground for people to have a train of thoughts, you know?
Waking up of how I transformed this tool into how I transformed this as a tool, as a gift in my life, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so how when I started to understand what is being an empath, um, what aspects it has, I realized what I needed to do, because as I was giving, you know, all the points that is important for us to realize your needs, to create an expression, to have a unique expressing yourself, to ask the question, whose business is this? Is it mine? Is it his or hers, or is it God's? So by practicing these tools, honestly, nothing happens overnight, Helen. Okay, we need to educate ourselves.
Yeah.
And as I was practicing these tools, it became a daily habit to develop an awareness around my tendencies, my needs, and how I can take care of myself. And first, I was fortunate. Why? Because I already had created a connection with my feelings, with the feeling world, and I already know how to transform my feelings, how to work on them, how to create a healthy relationship with my feelings. Okay, I was already there. So for a person that is like a beginner, it's the first time she or he hears this, and she doesn't know what even her or his relationship is towards his or her feelings. The good starting point is to become aware of your feelings. How are you feeling? How is your body feeling? And what are you doing with your feeling? Because what we do is, because of how the world goes, is when a feeling, when a happiness is come, oh, we love to be happy. If there's joy, we love to be joyful. But when there's sadness, we hide ourselves. We hate it. And sometimes we even punish ourselves. Why am I feeling bad right now? Where is this sadness coming from? You know, you punish yourself. It becomes like a habit. So, long story short, create an awareness around your feelings and create a relationship with your feelings. And after that, minding my own business, then I become free. Then I am not a sponge anymore. Then it becomes like almost like a switch. I can switch off, I can switch on. It doesn't mean I can really stop feeling, but what I can do is I educate myself with breath work. I breathe. And once I breathe, and then I become aware, and then I say, oh, okay, it's not me, it's that, it's him or her. And then I'm like, okay, I ground myself within. I align myself with my mind, my body in that moment, in that place. And I'm like, okay. And then I start to observe what's happening, because nothing is separate from me. On the other hand, you know, I am a part of this life. I'm a part of that communication. I'm a part of that relationship. I'm a part of that community. I am a part of this place too. I have, you know, if I brought myself here, I have a part in it too. And that's where we start to take ownership, take responsibility of what is it to me? What is my part? And then I take ownership of that, and then I'm free. And then I learn from that, and I'm free, and it's done. I don't suffer anymore.
It actually
Does it make
sounds,
sense?
yeah, it sounds like while you're being an emotional person and highly sensitive, let's call it also, you learn to add a filter to almost to say, will I let it pass through me, or will I bounce it back and say that's none of my business, that's not mine? It just like almost also training your mind to be more receptive of what's going around you, you know, like okay, there's something going on. And maybe immediately even to say, let's creating a box, let's say, in your mind to say, okay, let's see what will happen there. And then put everything there. And it's if really none of your business, it was something happening outside and you were just passing by, just taking that box and just throw it away, you know?
Yes, it is the ability to separate yourself from becoming a sponge to becoming an observer.
That makes a lot of sense, really. And I really hope like it helps people to understand some stuff and maybe even to have this understanding how to apply this to day-to-day life, because it's something so crucial to have. And actually, as we spoke, we all have spirits, we are all spiritual, and I do believe actually we all come into this world as empaths. In different ages we just close ourselves into it with this, as you said, this male masculine energy, and just some of us shuts it completely, some of us a bit, but the key to just embrace it at the end of the day.
Yeah, because life mission, life purpose doesn't come easy. It is a gift. As we're coming with this gift onto this world and we start to experience world, of course we will have some blockages around it. Of course we might have some parents or family conditions that doesn't meet our needs, that doesn't help our empathic nature to be nurtured. Of course it will be the opposite. Of course there will be some experience, sometimes painful experience around this, and this has a purpose too, Helen. This is why we're having all these experiences, to be able to wake up, to be able to take ownership, and to be able to learn how to nurture yourself, how to create a good expression. How can I express myself? How can I first understand and then express it? These are all the places that we need to learn. And we experience, and then we learn, and then we share. So it's not, the world is not against us. The world is not a place that we're not all cursed or damned or whatever. This is the nature of being in human experience. Yes, you come here. Yes, you will have some unpleasant experiences until you're ready to discover, to own, to embrace, and then transform it.
Wow. This has been just so amazing, like the whole talk and all the details. I appreciate it so much that you opened up this subject and just went so deep in it. Before we wrap this up, do you have anything else you would like to add in it?
Well, this was one of the subjects that for the longest time in my life, I was suffering in it. And then it became a gift for me. Now, the way I work, I bring this gift into my work, into my coaching, and I coach intuitively. And I teach intuitively. That this is a gift how I started to use. And I'm sure there are a lot of different realms, different dimensions into it that I can explore more. And I'm loving it so far. And it's my pleasure to be able to share it. And I hope to talk to you again. This was an amazing experience for me. So thank you so much for having me. And I simply loved it.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. So anyone who listens to us, who watch this, I will put the links of Zarife to her social media handles in the description down below. If you want to keep tuning in, just please subscribe, like, and share with people, and just join us for more talks like this. And in the future, Zarife will come back with other subjects again. And I'm actually looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. That would be amazing. Thank you so much, Pelin.
Thank you too. It's so beautiful. See you.
Yes.
See you, everyone. Bye.
See you. Bye.